Welcome back. Time to bring in our panel right now. Joining us here in studio this week, we have Democratic strategist Laura Beck, 2016 Vice Chair for the Indiana Trump campaign, Tony Samuel, and two former state lawmakers for the Democrats, Terry Austin and Republican Mike Murphy. Great to have you all here with us this week. Terry, I'll start with you. It certainly looks as if the president and his team are starting to approach this November's election as if it will indeed be a rematch with former President Trump after his wins in Iowa and now in New Hampshire.
I would agree with you. I think at this point they're consolidating their resources, they're moving staff around. We saw that Jen O'Malley went over to the campaign side. And at this point, it seems like a long time until November, but it's really not.
They're already gearing up, no doubt. Mike, what were your thoughts on Nikki Haley's numbers there in New Hampshire and the former president's somewhat unusual victory speech? Whether Haley still has a chance or not, she does at least seem to be frustrating her opponent at the very least, and she's raised a couple of $1 million since Tuesday night too.
Well, I think a couple things. First of all, it wasn't as well as she wanted to do, but it wasn't as badly as she could have
somewhere
done.
In the middle.
Right, somewhere in the middle. So it was turned out to be 11%. You know, she survives to go on to the next fight. The former president's speech is actually working against him and in her favor because she raised $2.6 million in less than 48 hours. Mostly because of the way he treats her in speeches, makes fun of what she wears, you know, says she's not even an American, blah, 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 all this stuff, you know, and women are getting mad. Anybody who understands that we're an immigrant nation is mad, and so it's all going to work against him. But the best thing that came out of that night was Nikki Haley's statement, which I think everybody can at least understand, is the party that is going to win the presidency is going to be the first party that gets rid of their 80-year-old candidate.
Tony, what's your response to that, and how are Trump supporters approaching all of this as this primary process continues to play out, despite the former president saying and calling for her to essentially drop out?
Well, his numbers have always been high, so the Trump support has always been there. I've been saying it, you know, weekly. Remember that he still won by double digits, but that was an open primary, meaning Democrats and independents could switch their registration and vote, and they did in big numbers. With just registered Republicans, he won 75% to 25%.
But does that pose a warning sign for him for November?
Not really, because he's going to consolidate the Republicans that aren't with him for the most part. He'll get into the 90s as far as Republicans, and that's where he was in 2016 at 92%, and that carried him to victory. It'll be even higher, and you'll get the independents that aren't, and many Democrats, blacks, Hispanics especially, are leaving Biden. Those will come to Trump again because of the policies that he had in place that were working when he was president that have, contrary to what's failed for Biden in the last 3 years.
Laura, how do you see this from across the aisle as we also see these Republican candidates for governor in Indiana now kind of fighting this week about who's more supportive of the former president? Is that telling in terms of his influence still on the Republican Party, even as he kind of goes back and forth to court this past week dealing with some of his legal problems?
Absolutely. I mean, I think he is truly running as the incumbent president, and I think that's how he's trying to position himself as an incumbent, and he has a chokehold over the party. I had to laugh at the Republican gubernatorial candidates because it's like, you know, it reminded me of like a 9-year-old boy fight over basketball and who's the bandwagon and who isn't. I mean, it was just, it was.
I get the sense you presided over some of those fights.
I have seen some of these, yes, in real time. So going back though to the primary, I mean, I think maybe Nikki Haley's game is, as long as she can hang on and as long as she can stay in, who knows what could happen with Trump. You know, we said that November is not that far away, but he has 91 criminal charges pending against him. And maybe she figures if she stays in, she might come out on top with it. The other thing too for her is if she really does want to stay in, then she's got to go full bore anti-Trump. She can't do the dance of he's not that bad, he is really that bad.
Tough line to kind of straddle. Mike, back to the candidates for governor. What did you make of some of their remarks this week, including the lieutenant governor's endorsement of the former president?
Well, I think it was a very pragmatic move on her part to endorse the president, the former president. I mean, 76% approval rating. You know, I'd probably do the same thing if I were running for office, but I'm not. But other than that, the candidates' comments were, I think they're going along with their talking points. There were no really big surprises. The big surprise, as we talked about a week or two ago, is how poorly Chambers and Doden are doing, even in their home markets of Indianapolis and Fort Wayne. That does not speak well for either one of them.
Terry, we also saw Lieutenant Governor Crouch and Todd Rokita there at the March for Life this past week as the president and VP also marked the anniversary of Roe v. Wade. Just how big of an issue do you think abortion will be at the polls in 2024 here in Indiana and beyond?
I think the whole scenario of reproductive rights across the board will be an important issue for women. I think women will turn out, maybe not in as great a numbers in Indiana as in some other states, but believe me, it is on the minds of women, whether they're 21 or 81 at this point.
Tony, we're also seeing the immigration issue front and center again this week with the former president and his allies coming out against this bipartisan immigration deal that may no longer be politically viable. Senator Braun came right out and told us in our interview, quote, "Why would we do a deal that's going to help the president?" While Todd Young said it would be tragic if negotiations got held up for campaign purposes. Is that what's happening here? Is that why the deal is being held up in your
No,
view?
remember, President Trump talked about this when he first announced way back in 2015. This was the centerpiece, one of the centerpieces of his campaign because it registered and it was a problem then. It's been a problem since. He had things in place that were actually fixing it while he was in office. Biden reversed those. You've gotten everything going the wrong way. Over 6 million since Biden illegals have entered, probably more because those are the only ones we know about. Almost 200 on the terrorist watch list. I mean, the statistics go on and on for Biden, and they're bad. Back to your question, the senators don't know the details. That's the problem here. And then there's this threshold where they're saying you can, it's easier to deport after you reach 5,000 a day. That's more than 1 million in a year. So the senators that are critical of this plan because they don't know the details, they're right to be critical of it.
So as for Senator Braun's comments, we did get this statement from the Chambers campaign this week. Their senior strategist said, quote, "Senator Braun should do the job that Hoosiers sent him to Washington to do, to get things done, not play politics. Our country's front door is closed. Our back door remains wide open. Meantime, they said career politicians like Braun would rather talk about it than do something about it." What do you make of all this, Laura?
Well, I think it's incredibly disingenuous and cynical of Mike Braun. He's running a campaign ad right now that says he's going to do something about the border, but yet he is in Washington, D.C. saying, yeah, this is all about Trump. We're just going to make the road easier for him. This is an opportunity for bipartisan cooperation to show you're a leader, and he is not doing that. He's showing he's a cynical politician, and that's what people don't like politicians.
Okay. Meantime, Governor Holcomb, among about 25 governors signing a letter this week in support of the state of Texas and their efforts to try and stand up against the Supreme Court ruling about the border. All right, coming up next, some troubling new numbers about voter turnout in Indiana. We'll discuss the impact right after this.